2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. All right, if you're on there, you should be hearing my voice right now. If you're new, you can chime in, say what's up and how you're doing. Okay. Good on Twitch, we are hearing. Thank you. You guys should be hearing me, and let's chill that out. And let's chill music out. Okay, and let's switch scenes. Sweet. Okay, sweet. I'm here. All right. Hey, everybody. How are you? Welcome to day 4 trillion in the lockdown. How are you doing out there, people? Are you still sane? Still holding it together? I will be. This is going to sound like a lie, but this is the truest thing I can say right now. Doing these classes and jams has been a lifeline for me. So thank you guys for participating. I mean, I think I'd probably do them anyway, even if no one was watching. Hopefully, people will continue to watch. But it's helping me remember what day it is, honestly, and that's really, really awesome. So I also want to say I have not figured out a good way to thank people on PayPal for their donations. If others of you take PayPal or know it and know there's some secret, but for everybody that's contributed through PayPal, it means so much to me. And some of the donations have been so generous, and I really, really appreciate that. But I'm trying to write everybody back on Venmo because it's easy, but I'm having trouble with PayPal. But anyway, so sweet, good. Welcome, Jess. You should be able to, on some of the sites you can see the other people's comments, and on others you can't. So I tried to make that happen, and it looks like it kind of comes and goes for no reason. So I want to jump right into class. And with Thursday's class will be on balance. It's like these are my intro classes, and so this Thursday will be on balance. So kind of like ways to work on that. And it'll be mixed with other things just to make it a real class, because it's hard to work on balance for that long. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of better. So tonight's class is a class that I talked about, or I tried to make a catchy title for essentially like finding our strength and activating our strength and our power. And I have a bunch of hippie theories that are completely based on nothing but just anecdote, that when we sort of believe ourselves to be sometimes a little bit better than where we are, we perform better, a lot better, and we make mistakes, but a little bit better. And so that belief in just a little bit of better, in some ways, is confidence, because it's like that. What makes you confident is something that you can handle what's coming, and that extra little belief, of better than maybe you could handle it, gives you confidence. And in movement, I think that there are things that we can do to our brains to make us feel more confident there. But again, based on no science at all, and I love science, I think that there are movements that inspire confidence. And I think just building up reflexes and strength in general inspires confidence. And from there, confident infused thoughts can come out, if that makes sense. That like when you're confident, if you break that word down, we shouldn't really even need it. If you think about it, because to be confident really just means that you're authentically trusting your authentic self, and that you're confident. But it's so rare that across human history that we have a word for it. And I think that it can be hard to generate confidence out of nothing. And I've been in those places where you've lost all confidence, and my heart goes out to you because it's a tough hole to crawl out of. What's easier is to not get in the hole and doing things that will help your confidence, like being in your body, like letting your imagination wander and it taking you to these really great things like seeing results. But thanks, John. But anyway, and so one of the ways that I teach that can be a little bit sort of hard to get used to for some people is I like to use myth and metaphor because it's kind of like when you step into the vehicle of somebody else. Like when I was a little kid, I used to pretend I was Michael Jordan. I'd shoot the shot, and just that pretending I was Michael Jordan, like it got me into this place of not questioning. And so in my teaching, I use those kind of vehicles, except not Michael Jordan, but I use stories and myth, and all these stories are completely made up as all myths are. But hopefully, like all myths, they're meant to help teach a point. So tonight's myth or the character of tonight's myth is a woman named Anna. Anna, you spell that A-H-N-A, Anna. And in the story of the myth, she is the prima madre. She is the woman that gets everything started. And so if you, if you're into theater and you like the idea of trying to find her character, her other nickname could have been Anna the Initiator or Anna the Activator, because Anna is your friend that, like, if you've been talking about moving somewhere for 2 months, Anna is your friend that says, can you just please effing move there? That's the energy of Anna, and that's what we're going to really try to bring out. But we're also going to have, it's not going to be super myth heavy because I want to have just the exercises of building your strength and your confidence. So anyway, I want to make sure we get going. Thank you, guys. I am going to, this playlist is already assembled, and it is on, let me make sure. Okay. It is already assembled, and it is on SoundCloud the moment that this is over. Okay. Okay, guys, and replays are on YouTube, by the way. Replays are on YouTube. Okay, so we're going to get going. And if you're new to this sway, can you guys hear my mic? Is everything cool in the gang with that? Okay. All right. Sweet. Got my slides on still. Okay. Audible breath in. Thank you. All right. Audible breath in. I'm going to close my eyes. I know it looks weird to watch me do it, but it's how I always find myself. If you're new to sway, you can move any way you'd like. You can kind of think of it like 8 minutes of free-form movement. Some people wish it would be longer. Some people wish it would be shorter. I get it. In my weekly classes, I try to keep it 6 to 8 minutes long. In sway, I can move any way I'd like. Hopefully, the moment I put my blindfold on, the moment I hear the first note, I'm just in it. And sometimes that happens. But when it doesn't happen, I explore my movement by pushing my hands out and away from the body, or shifting my weight. And I do all that over the course, the patient course of 8 minutes. Audible breath in. Audible breath in. Space in front of me is my day. My hands are out in day. The space behind you is night. Audible breath in. To have an ANA-based class is to have a class based on the character, the capital C character of a character named ANA. And she is appreciated because she found herself at a moment in life where she knew she could no longer tolerate where she was at. And without knowing where she was going to go, she took action on the belief that anywhere was better than the place she was. And it's because of that decision, it was because of that courage that she was honored by the Maidan. Because it was that courage to leave a situation that had made all of their lives more beautiful. Audible breath in. Sometimes giving up something that's not good for you is like knowing that where it is no good and having no idea where you'll be without it. But knowing that you just can't stay. Audible breath in. For the next moment, visualize as you sway and you open something that if ANA was standing next to you, she would want you to get going with. Some encouraging voice telling you, you know, do it. Audible breath in. Audible breath in. Audible breath in. Think of something, gently think of something that ANA would be telling you to start, to get going on. And as you move your body, that feeling of initiative will move through the whole body like the rhythm of music, like the rhythm of movement. Something you want to begin, something she's telling you it's time for, your gut is telling you it's time, or maybe it's not time. Maybe she's telling you to wait. Audible breath in. Sweet. All right. So, this is more of a physical awakening type exercise, just to get the whole body going. And, you know, like if you're like me, I grew up playing tennis. It's really a one-arm sport. And basketball can be a kind of a one-arm sport. Baseball can be a one-arm sport. And these ways of growing up, dance is really a two-arm sport, which is a good thing for it. And so anyway, my point is that sometimes because of our movement experiences, we create a dominance between the two hands or the two sides of the body that doesn't have to be as pronounced as it is. And we can work around that by just giving that non-dominant side of the body just as many opportunities to do things as the dominant side of the body. And as we explore this, it's like the non-dominant side of the body gets more opportunities to prove to your reflexes and to your brain that it can handle more than what you think it can. And that's that confidence. That's that little bit better than maybe where you're at right now, that belief. That's confidence. And so for this exercise, this is kind of like meant to be a body waking up type exercise, because what we're going to do is hold the hoop in a static, well, we're going to start, if you're not sure, we're going to hold it in a static position, but you can do anything you want to. But we're going to purposefully move the two trees, and of course the two hands, which we call birds, but essentially we're focused on the two trees right now. Hopefully you're doing this with me. This is very much an experience class. Two trees means that I'm on one of my two legs as much as possible. Okay. Now, any movement that you do is fine and acceptable. I'm showing it super simple because I want you to see that this is more like, you know, almost like a fitness exercise more than like an artistic expression. This is you moving the whole body and generating that confidence in your range of motion. My non-dominant hand is my left hand. I'm keeping my hoop in my left hand right now just so I can give it an opportunity to carry a little bit of extra weight and wake up. One thing that can help build my confidence, and what Anna used a lot, is your awareness. And awareness will change your motion, but it doesn't have to. For instance, I can bring awareness to the two sides of my face. Sometimes I'll bring awareness to the top of each ear, and I'll feel that movement from the top of each ear and realize that I'm holding my head still. And that I can free up my head, put it on a swivel, and suddenly more of my body is moving and less of it is locked. When my arm gets tired, I can just switch it out. Or maybe in my strength building, you know, as I'm shifting my weight from one leg to the other, maybe I want my arm to fatigue. Maybe I'm really liking that feeling. This is if I add a little bit of samurai folding that we worked on Thursday. Good. Hopefully your feet are moving and your heart rate is coming up. the heart rate probably more important than anything right now. Good. Good. Moving both feet, both legs. Good. Heart rate up. And then just for the end here, we can add the offhand. We can add movement of the offhand so that whatever, it doesn't have to do anything, but that it's moving. Good. Good. Heart rate should be up by now. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Okay. A little bit of a. Okay. So for this next exercise, we're going to push our range of motion out. Okay. Now I know this is tough if you've got a small apartment, but if you do not, what we're going to do is we're going to work on big movements that make us feel strong. And we're going to try to recruit all of the body as much as we can. So these big, if you have the room, I get it. If you don't, I understand. But these big swooshes of mine, they can kind of open up when I do them, a release in my body. If I loosen and tighten that grip like we were doing, on Thursday, then I can start to do folds, and I can tighten it up, and I can crisp it up. Now, I know I'm asking a lot, but the one reason that I invoke the myth is so that when you're swinging these things, you can think of this as an exercise. Rather than the beginning or end of a move, you can just think of it as an exercise. This is my old tennis form. Boom. Boom. All right. Big movements. If you can't do big movements right now, other strength moves are hops. There's loads of strength moves. Big movement. Boom, really pushing out your range of motion. Some of us are kind of taught that we should be smaller than we are. And it can be good to be big and own that space again. If you've been feeling like you're smaller than you are, it's good to own that space. To own it by physically moving into it, literally moving into it. Initiating energy. It takes a lot of energy to initiate something, right? You have to push out of that dead momentum. Once you got it going, it's good, but getting it going, big burst of energy, preparing you for when you need the real one. Whatever you're doing with the hoop doesn't really matter. What you're doing with the body right now and how you're doing it. Big, big. And your heart rate should be up right now. If it's not, go bigger. Big swoop. If you're not sure what to do, this is the butterfly catcher type position. This is a little bit more of the slice and dice. Give your non-dominant hand some play. Let it wake up. Finding your power. Good. When you find your power wanting to assert itself in hooping anyway, let it. If you want the big movement, it feels good, do it. Big. All right. Hope everybody's doing all right. Thank you so much, guys, for everything, for participating. Okay, we're going to move right along. This is kind of a fitnessy class. And we're going to start off by rolling the hoop around our arms. And I'm using my forearm right now. And as I've talked about in other ways, you're going to try to move the whole body to help achieve this rhythm that you have here. And then there's all forms of ways that you can transfer hands, but you can really just stick an arm in and then turn it back into the orientation of the other and continue that bounce. The way that you get good at these transitions is just to do them over and over again and to begin to let the body find out and do what it likes to do for you to keep the hoop smooth, if that's your goal. Now, the reason that we're going to move from what we were doing to this is that we're going to move on to core hooping after this. And one of the ideas that exist in the Maidan myth is about the run of Ana. So after she leaves that uncomfortable situation, she goes on this epically long run. And when you were a young baby Maidan, you would be taught the story of Ana when you were learning to hoop, because they wanted these Maidan to think of the hoop rolling around as the footsteps of the bravest woman that they had known, right? And so they are rolling around the arm. And so an Ana meditation, and I'll go ahead and get the music going on this, an Ana meditation is when you focus, it doesn't have to be slow, but it's when you focus on the steps of the hoop as it rolls around you, whatever direction you're doing. So we're going to open up our arms. Oh, the other idea is that the steps of Ana they bless you, that they open you. But we're going to roll around and switch arms when we want to. But we're going to focus on the steps of Ana, meaning we're going to focus on how the hoop is making contact with us all the way through. And then, of course, I can add any sort of thing I want to. I can weave and all of that sort of thing. But I'm focused on vertical rolling, and I really want to feel the hoop roll across my arms, like to activate my arms. And I'm going to stay here, even though there's loads of temptation to move other places. I'm going to stay here so that I really work the arms and I really work my shoulders, because I want this initiating energy all through me. Okay, here we go. This is point work on the inside. Tossing left to right. Swing breaks. I'm focused on the steps of a na. That's what really helps you in these swings, is that the hoop is rolling and rolling around you like someone running, and then it stops. That person skids like a na would, stops, and that performs. That's how the swing gets carried out. She's rolling, she's rolling, she's rolling, she's rolling, she's stopped. She's rolling, she's rolling, she's rolling, she's rolling, she's stopped. For those of you that have been tossing for a while, you can start to add strikes if you have the room. Strikes can help you open up other parts of the body, make a bigger connection, open up more confidence. I'll do a knee strike. A knee strike, I'm just going to hit it right in front of 6 o'clock and the hoop pops up there. So here, I throw it, give it a little pop towards the hoop, so the angle sends it back up. This is at the foot, but it's a little painful. I don't know if I'd recommend it. You hit with the other one. Okay. We're going to do one more exercise before we move into the core. And this is an exercise that we call discovery. And this comes from the story of Anna, because once she makes this epic run, she finds these 2 beautiful trees. They change her life. And then she realizes that she feels enlightened but lonely. And she goes out looking for people. And when she goes out, she's very afraid. But she sort of conditions herself with the mantra of, I'm on discovery, I'm on discovery, I'm on discovery. So this is a discovery exercise. And the way they work for me is I'll give you a limitation or some loose limitation, and then you try to go out a little bit scared with the hopes that you're on discovery. What we're going to do, the technique that you're going to be limited to is open samurai, and this is when the hoop is between your fingers. Now, any way that it's between your fingers in any of the 5 or how many ever fingers you have per hand is legit and cool. But you can do some really cool things using your fingers as hinges. So I'm holding the hoop. This is one I'll just show you super fast just so you don't feel here we go. Alone in this. This is me holding the hoop between my first 2 fingers, and then I'm inside of it here. And then I just sort of hinge or loop fingers around, however that works. If I keep one hand high and pull the other one towards me, the hoop's going to pivot off of me. I'm here, I'm holding it on the back and sitting, making contact on I'm helping my studio audience right now. I'm holding the hoop, there we go. I'm holding the hoop on my back. Pick a hand, any hand, and then the other hand's going to come down, but the top hand stay, yeah. And then as it reps in, good, yeah, you'll pivot it off the body. Boom. Boom, boom. So the idea with this is that you're going to play with this concept for 4 minutes to music that I like to do this to. And we're going discovery. Maybe unlock something. Shout out to Morgan Jenkins, Mojangles, today. I did her podcast interview thing or whatever, and it was super fun, and she was super awesome. And I'm really looking forward to seeing other ones. Thank you. One of the things that I like to do with Open Samurai is isolate. You know, like if I get the sort of cigar type grip or some kind of funky grip on the hoop, and then I can isolate nice and easy. I can use with my middle fingers inside, I can use those outside fingers to create good resistance and push. But you're not limited to what I'm doing. We're on discovery here. open samurai. The hoop's going between my fingers, only 2 fingers, however I wanted to do it. I can create hinges, I can twirl, I can isolate with it. Good. Anything you want to do, we're playing with Open Samurai. Of course, you don't have to stay there. You can move any way you want to into tosses. Sweet. Thanks, everybody. All right. We're going to, let's see, make sure. Yep. Okay. So for the next portion of the work in class, we're going to be doing core hooping. And so what I want to do is play a song and give you a chance to core hoop, to warm up before we get into the warm-up. So you can hoop any way that you want to the song. Yeah, here we go. Any way that you want to hoop to the song, just to warm up the core. If you're new to HoopPath, that's the top of the head to the bottoms of the feet. That's waist hooping, shoulder hooping, leg hooping. But we're going to move into some guided core after this, so I'm giving you a chance to kind of warm that up. Any way you want to hoop, just working the hoop around you. It's a warm-up song. I really recommend taking your time when you're warming up the core. And if it feels good to just hang out on the waist or wherever you're hanging out, shoulders, legs, wherever it is, to just let it be there. Right? I think it's coming back. I know it's coming back. Reverse. This is always that moment in the song where I'm like, where's my backpack? Right? Any way you want to hoop, core hooping, moving around. We're going to finish strong with some core hooping tonight. Ann is here with me in my studio audience. My new housemates are here. We had set up this move long before the virus hit, but we've done everything we can to be safe. Oh yeah, you're good, dude. Yeah. Any way you want to hoop. Heart rate up. Not to be a drag, and I really say this from my own experience, but it's nice to pay attention to your posture every now and then when you're hooping. You can learn to kind of hoop hunched. You can learn bad hoop posture, bad movement posture through the hoop. And it becomes really hard to unlock it, and I say that from complete experience of my own. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. I haven't thrown a donation link up yet, but I will. Thank you for that. It means a lot. All right. That's a nice track. I really like that one. Oh, nope. Okay. Here we go. We're going to finish strong tonight on the core. Keep getting off center here. Hopefully you're still with me, guys. All right, heart rate up. The hoop is traveling around me. We are imagining that we are the steps, or that the hoop is the steps of this running figure. It's just a metaphor just to help us kind of open up and feel better. And the idea is that we want to feel the reverberations of those steps wherever wherever those steps are, we want to feel the reverberation, the impact of those steps all the way through the body, like we're made of water or loose dirt. And so I'm feeling a na run across my waist right now. But I'm trying to open to also feeling that through my hips, down into my legs, and even the soles of my feet. This is Birds of Paradise. I love this track. And then when you're ready in your rhythm, you'll reverse this. Now, this is a type of a na exercise that we do with the core. Most of the times we do it blindfolded. But the idea is that you feel the steps of a na until you start to get a little sensitive maybe to her being there, and then you move them to another part of the body, but that you stay with that feeling. So here's for instance, I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to fall into the feeling of a na or the hoop rolling around the same portion of my body. And I'm going to try to create the smallest, thinnest belt of contact that hoop is hitting me. And that may take some doing. I have a nice wide stance so that I can do it. So this is really where this is the beginning stage of an na meditation, because it's this music is awesome. It's from here that I move my awareness. So I'm in this rotation, and I'm gonna put my awareness just on my day side. I'm putting my awareness on my day side, and I just feel how that awareness changes how the front part of my body pushes into the hoop. And then what I want to feel is that impact of a na steps, but also that reverberation through my body. So my action, I feel the reaction to that, the hoop's action, and it feels the reaction to that. And I know this sounds super geeky, but this is how you can really start to grace up your core flow, is by using an na meditation where you create a simple rhythm and you just move your awareness. You don't move that much, but your awareness moves throughout the body. for instance, I could move my awareness to just the left side, just the front left side of my body, right? And even though you probably can't see it, it feels like it changes it, right? And so sometimes, like if you've always wondered why are your shoulders wonky, you've been hooping for 10 years, your shoulder hoop is wonky, and a non-meditation can really help. For instance, if I come up here to the shoulders, if I'm in a non-meditation, I might just focus on the feeling of one shoulder, one arm, and then maybe move the other arm over. So I'm trying to create a consistent track for the hoop so that I can feel the subtle differences as I move them. The steps of a knot, the steps of this running momentum around us. Good. Good. If you can't shoulder hoop, the non-meditation and this kind of practice still helps you just the same. One way to work on that if you're just starting is to work on lowering into the legs, because this is usually a good way to feel what happens when you restrict the movement of the legs by sinking down into them. This is in a non-meditation where I'm going to try to keep the hoop level as much as I can, but I'm going to move into balances and dips. And as the hoop is rolling around me, I'm trying to feel for a nuance. I'm picking a quarter of the body or something like that, some perspective, and just focusing on that and bringing my awareness to that. The hoop can be anywhere that you want it to be, but we're focused on the path of contact as it rolls around us. Right? Nice. Anne's doing some hard balance over there. When I first started teaching the hoop, Morgan asked me, what did I used to teach back in the day? And this is what we used to do back in the day. We did all I forgot about that when she asked me, but we used to do all these balances. Anyway, whatever you're doing, you're feeling the path of contact, and this is the type of meditation I just have to keep reminding you to do. I'll give you, for instance, when we come up here to the shoulders, when I'm up here on the shoulders, one thing that sometimes people don't feel until they do in a non-meditation is they don't realize how much they're not using their shoulder blades. They don't realize it all until they're doing the meditation and they realize that, oh, when a na is running onto the back of me, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. Or, if you have a bruise from your shoulder hooping, what that means is that a na is jumping on you. That she is jumping, leaping across your front side and slamming into that shoulder. In addition to the pain there, but a non-meditation can help you smooth out those protruding shoulders. Of course, there's a certain level of grace you would have to achieve to get here, but this is the Monday class. Nice. This is just an opportunity to work on these type of polished graces. Again, as I was doing before, I'm just pushing ideas out as we groove together. If I turn with a na, she just stands. She's just literally standing on my night side. This is a night side stall in HoopPath. This is a day side stall because she's standing on my day. This is called a 6 p.m. stall because she's just sitting right there on the middle point, more or less. And this is a 6 a.m. stall. Stalls. And stalls, one way to get good at stalls is the Anand meditation, to just put her to sleep. And then when it's time to get her going, you want to create steps for her. Good. What happens in the story of Anand is that as she's running, she is observing nature. She's observing nature as she's running, and she's becoming it. So she sees the trees bending and rolling in the wind and coming back upright, and she becomes that type of movement. And she sees the birds that are darting, high into the sky and then down, sweeping, super agile in the invisible wind. Her hands and shoulders became that. And so the story of Anah, and the reason it was told to young Maidan, was that they were apart and emerged out of a nature. Only their form was different than maybe one other creature. So Anah really believed that. She really brought that into her movement. So she moved metaphorically. Good. If Anah was a real person and she was here on this floor, she would probably start pretending that it was ice, or she would find some sort of game to play with herself to be in metaphorical movement with nature. Good. Good. Where are we at? Time. Okay, sweet. Sweet. Finishing with a bang tonight. All right, back on the waist. Yeah, back on the waist. Oh, nope. That's not the one. Here we go. Oop. Yeah. Okay, we're back on the waist here. And we're going to work on rooted shoulders just for a moment here. And our goal is going to be to move down into seated shoulders. So when I'm up here on the shoulders, because kind of this is achievement-based unlocking of confidence. But when I'm up here on the shoulders, in order for me to pull this off when I sit down, I need to recruit as much movement from above my sternum, or at least above like my low ribs, to find and create movement there. I'm also going to need to use my arms a lot, and they'll probably have to be out to help me keep the hoops playing enough flat that it doesn't hit the ground behind me, okay? Now, if you can't do this, don't worry about it. We're not going to stay here for very long. But this is a good way to use the story of Anah, because for you to pull this off, you're going to have to use every part of the shoulders. So you can start. I'm going to go ahead and do the whole thing without stopping the hoop, hopefully. But you don't have to. You can just start off down there. Some people have different knees, and they have different reasons. And then I angle the hoop into earth angle when I'm down here. Oh, shots. That stunk. All right. All right, let's try that over. We'll edit that out in post. All right, here we go. Couch. Okay, but the goal is that when we're down here, and if you're new to this and just starting, this is a big gold star to earn. It's nice to feel this one. But this is really where the story of Anah can really help you. And what I mean by that is that you've got to find push for her steps. You have to find the wind that's pushing her. And a lot of times it requires your non-dominant side, or maybe not your natural non-dominant, but the one you're using the least needs to be activated more. It also helps to push, for me anyway, to push the chest open. My hoop is rolling pretty high up on me, like it's pretty high across the top of my shoulders, and I'm gonna lean back some. And then if you can reverse. And what's funny is that you will feel the absence of your legs. It's like you'll feel the ghost of their momentum still there. You can almost, even though they're not moving, they're trying to. This is Birds of Paradise. I love this. I know we're almost out of time. I just wanted to push this tonight. My hope is that if you've been able to do most of this, or if you're watching it on replay and you're able to do most of it, that the true feeling of confidence is about to come. All right, when you feel like this has been enough torture, let's go one more current switch. Of course, you can try different leg positions when you're pushing out here. You know, some people like to think this is easier. You can lean back, whatever. You know, this is definitely a strenuous way to do it. And it's really hard when you have a super small hoop. Anne's making it look easy right now, but it's super hard. And then when you are ready to come up, big swoosh up. And then I'm back up here. Sweet. Okay, if you were able to do that with us, guys, thank you for joining us. All right, we're going to move into free hoop time. You can hoop and work this way out any way that you want to. Thank you guys so much for chiming in, and I appreciate you being here. Do you want to go? Anne's going to take the first free hoop song. Guys, so much. Thank you. Thursday, balance, 7 o'clock. We'll be doing balance. We're doing a few other things, but balance will be the focus. Thank you, everybody. Right. Right? Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Sweet. Thank you, everybody. I was almost there. All right. Do you want to take this one? Oh, I can do this one. This is the last one anyway. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. This is the free hoop, the end of the class. Money coming, money go, yeah. People coming, people go. If you sneaking on the low, yeah. I can't rock with you no more. Money coming, money go, yeah. People coming, people go. I swear I need something more, yeah. So I can't rock with you no more. Money coming, money go, yeah. The faster come, the faster go, yeah. I throw it up, she hit the floor, yeah. Now she feeling for some more. People coming, people go, yeah. You help them once, they want some more, yeah. I sip the lead, I pour the floor, yeah. Now my life is moving slow. If you sneaking on the low, yeah. Then you acting like a hoe, yeah. You been watching all my shows, yeah. Now you biting off the flow. Money coming, money go, yeah. People coming, people go. If you sneaking on the low, yeah. I can't rock with you no more. Money coming, money. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. People coming, people go. I swear I need something more, yeah. So I can't rock with you no more. Money coming, money go, yeah. I can't tell who friend or foe. Oh man, I forgot to turn the light on. I used to sleep up on the floor, yeah. Of course I did. Fiends be ringing at the door. I swear I need something more, yeah. I swear I seen this life before, yeah. I swear I need something more, yeah. Cause I seen this all before. I can't rock with you no more. It's not the same as before. You had to even up the score. Now I'm looking at the door that you ain't walking through no more. Money coming, money go, yeah. People coming, people go. If Thank you, everybody.